The Florida and California governors are at each other's throat again, and this time it is not about the House of Mouse. No, we're not talking Disney today, although I'm sure Disney would be very interested in the battle here. No, we're talking about the threatened kidnapping charges by California Governor Gavin Newsom, who is threatening Ron DeSantis with criminal kidnapping charges for his alleged activity involving migrants that were headed to California, that have arrived in California. So we're going to talk about that today and exactly why, in particular, 3 reasons why Gavin Newsom's argument for kidnapping is completely bunk. It's complete BS. We're going to get into that and break that down today. As always, I am Andrew Esquire, American attorney, specifically Florida attorney, over here in Asia, and happy to be talking to you guys on legal mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. So this is pretty classic, a pretty classic breakdown of those threats, those charges, and some reasons why those will never stick, those will never play. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So let's get with some basic facts and what happened in this today. So what happened here was we had a situation in which now a second plane with migrants has landed in California. So there's been multiple planes from California, or rather from Florida, and rather from other states as well, from Texas as well, but also from Florida, that are heading with illegal migrants to California. Now, why is this a thing? Well, this is a thing because, as you may know, California has declared itself a sanctuary state, and many counties, places, cities have said they are also sanctuary cities and municipalities, which go beyond even the protections of the state, and said, hey, we want these people in our state. So the politicians in red states like Texas and Florida have said, all right, you want them, you want illegal migrants, okay, here you go. You said you wanted them, we're giving them to you. Just like up there in Massachusetts, which is also a sanctuary state, and there's also sanctuary jurisdictions. But if you remember the Martha's Vineyard episode, you can see how these lily white progressive Northeastern liberals or West Coast liberals, yeah, they like it when it's theoretical, but when it's in their community, when it's brought to them, yeah, they don't like it so much. Those migrants were bussed out of Martha's Vineyard lickety split because they suddenly had no room at the inn. The whole state is supposed to be a sanctuary state, sanctuary city, but suddenly we can't handle this. No. There's a housing crisis here, so we just have to get rid of these migrants. So now Gavin Newsom, as these planes are arriving in California, is now saying, hey, wait, look, I am going to threaten them with kidnapping charges. So he was speaking, and he spoke about this in May and as well as recently, and said, I am going to consider legal action. I'm going to consider kidnapping charges against Ron DeSantis. And he backed this up on Twitter by saying, kidnapping charges are coming. Well, let's examine, and he also asked the DOJ on top of that to consider kidnapping charges for all of the governors shipping migrants out of the state. And he's been asking about this and mentioning this since 2022. This was actually from 2022. So he's been on this horse for a while, but I really haven't seen anybody out there debunking him, especially any lawyers out there going through and saying, okay, this is why this isn't going to work. So I want to walk through and give you, first of all, what is kidnapping? What are the typical elements of kidnapping? And why is this not going to work? So let's go to the California definition of kidnapping. So we'll use it in the light most favorable to the triggered liberal governor. And this is the actual, just simple kidnapping statute from California. And it requires 3 particular elements. So this is a criminal charge, and in order to prove somebody is guilty of this crime, you have to prove all of these elements, okay? You have to prove that the person, the defendant, took, held, detained another person by using force or instilling reasonable fear. Okay, so you have to use force or fear. So you have to threaten them, you have to use force, hit them, push them, handcuff them, lock them, make them do it because they are using force or fear. So that's part of the first element, but even the second element, using that force or fear, the defendant moved the other person or made them move a substantial distance, right? So obviously, okay, so a distance state to state would be covered by that. And here we go. That person did not consent to the movement. There you go. So if there's any consent, totally obliterates that argument. And then if they look at element 4, this is a jury instruction. So if there's any reasonable doubt regarding consent, the defendant did not actually or reasonably believe that the other person consented to that movement. So consent must be freely and voluntarily and know the nature of the act. So consent is something where you have to understand what you're consenting to, right? If you don't know what you're consenting to, that can be a problem. So those are all the elements here. Now, first of all, I don't think this would meet for Ron DeSantis. Personally, those elements, first of all, he wasn't the individual to do it, right? He's acting in his capacity as governor. So trying to put him there, Johnny on the spot, as the one who's using force or fear, it's pretty much a stretch there. But even beyond that, the question is, were these people forced in by coercion? You know, were they made to go there? Were they in fear? Let's see. Because there's actual footage of these folks. And I think this is the first deficiency of that argument. And this is actually from Fox here. I'm muting the audio, but you can see right here, this is video from the Division of Emergency Management in Florida, where the migrants who were sent are signing consent papers, which were available in Spanish. So they had a consent they could see there. So you can see they're here signing the consents. They're asking questions, they're getting answers, you know, they know what they're doing. And then here's them on the way here in a party bus. Does it look like these guys are having a bad time? They're in a limo, in a party bus here. They got the purple lights. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of pole in that going on there. But these guys do not look in reasonable fear for their lives. They do not look at holding up that victory sign. He does not look like he is being coerced, like there's anything going on there that's against his will. So that will defeat that element, right? That first element of force or fear. So that element is going to go away. And remember, all of these elements have to be met. Whenever you have a crime, you've got to meet every single element. You can't opt out of one element. You can't skip over it. You can't pass over it. So I think the first big thing for Gavin Newsom in criminal kidnapping charges against anybody is that they've got consent forms, so that they knew they were going. They weren't forced. They weren't told, hey, we're deporting you. Obviously, if you're trying to charge a state with this, you're trying to say, okay, the state was acting independently of the federal government, because if the federal government deported him, well, the federal government is allowed to do that. That's their job. That's what they do. The federal government is supposed to keep illegal migrants out of the country. They're supposed to regulate our borders. It's really funny how they forget that, how we, especially in the leftist states, especially in the blue states, they forget that that's the job of the federal government. And I can speak as somebody who is abroad. Other countries take this responsibility, particularly here in Asia. Other countries take this very, 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 very seriously. They closely track migrants. They make you register your address. When they move, they know exactly where you are, right? They make you re-register. They make you, have a specific ID on you at all times. They make you use that ID for pretty much any interaction that you have with, let's say, a bank or let's say official paperwork. So they know exactly where you are. They're tracking you closely. This is something that other countries do, but only in the lax United States do we look back and say, nah, let's let them in and let's not put any pressure on them at all. Speaking of no pressure, though, no pressure for you guys, but if you enjoy this content so far, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for getting me over 100,000 subscribers. The celebration is coming quite soon. It's going to be a surprise for you guys. I have something really interesting and different in store for the 100K celebration, so strap on for that. But thank you so much and appreciate all y'all out there. So let's get on to number 2, and I think this one is really an argument that is rooted in something fundamental, which I think Gavin Newsom doesn't understand, and that's the Constitution. You gotta have the Constitution here. So when we think about the Constitution, some of you have heard about the speech and debate clause. The speech and debate clause is what protects our senators at the federal level and members of the House of Representatives, while they are debating, while they're talking, while they're dealing with legislature. They're immune. They can do whatever they want. They can't be arrested. They can't be taken away. They're protected by that. And that's part of a larger concept of parliamentary immunity and sovereign immunity. And under this broad branch of sovereign immunity, when an individual is acting in their official capacity, whether that's as a governor, as a legislator, whatever, a judge, for example, a prosecutor even, they cannot have charges filed against them for doing their official duty. This is a core tenet of sovereign immunity. So I think this is a principle that's going to come into play when you try to come at the officials, right? Whether it's governors, deputies, anybody related to Florida, if they try to charge them with California laws, this is going to be an issue of sovereign immunity. And I know that this has been eroded away at. I know that during the Trump presidency, they tried to come after Trump aides, get them to talk. They tried to kind of scale back what is sovereign immunity, what is presidential immunity. And this may be something that comes back to bite us, because if we go down this road of allowing states to charge other states' officials with crimes, this is going to be a slippery slope. For example, can you imagine how many people in California are going to be charged with crimes in red states for the, let's say, gender things they are doing with young children, allowing them to be transitioned against their parents' will, something that is illegal in many red states, and many states will make that illegal. And certainly if they get into this lawfare, this criminalization battle between California and Florida, California and Texas, New York and Texas, this is going to be something where pretty much you're going to see half the country banned from the other half of the country. That is, if that's not a civil war or a national divorce, I don't know what else is. And I don't think that's tenable. If you're having officials getting arrested or getting, attempted to be extradited to other states to face criminal charges, this is going to be ridiculous. This is going to create a massive amount of tension in the United States when we're already at a boiling point. So that's one reason why I think for practical purposes we won't go there. And I think judges will just kick this to the doctrine of sovereign immunity and would just block any attempt to come after Ron DeSantis. But I want to bring up the last one. And this is the last point, which I think is very, very strong here against them, which is frankly their own laws regarding their sanctuary state status. Now, I want to bring up this map. This is a really good map. So green are counties or cities that have adopted sanctuary city or county status. So you see, even in Florida, that's Alachua County, which is, I went to the University of Florida. That's my alma mater. Unfortunately, it's a very liberal college town. Obviously, you see Austin over there in Texas. There you go. That's a sanctuary city. And a lot of times in these red states, these green places are often these college towns or the places like that. You also know then the Northeast, there's lots of these jurisdictions. And also you see Massachusetts, which is blue because it is a sanctuary state. Well, the only other sanctuary state other than Massachusetts happens to be California. See how blue that is? And the light blue shows that they're going above and beyond. So these are jurisdictions going above and beyond even the state and going further to protect migrants and further to say, we're not cooperating, we are protecting, we want these people. I think their sanctuary city status absolutely destroys this because it is a valid public purpose to send a migrant from a place that isn't a sanctuary city to a sanctuary city or sanctuary state. The entire state of California has said this is their public policy. Therefore, it is consistent with that public policy to accept any and all migrants, including the ones that are not welcome in other jurisdictions, that are not comfortable in other jurisdictions, that want to go to California. That is a valid use right there. That's a valid act. So I think they're going to have a problem because they've declared their entire state a sanctuary state. Not to mention the cognitive dissonance. Shouldn't they be welcoming for these folks? Shouldn't they be happy with that? Shouldn't they like that? Absolutely insane. Of course, there is a real problem here behind all this. And I think this is best spoken here by the sheriffs of California. So this is actually one of the sheriffs of California who gets right in, Sheriff Bianco, who gets right into the relationship that Gavin Newsom has had with the law enforcement mechanism in California. Let's listen in.
This is the first time in the memory of all of the sheriffs in this state. So the sheriffs, there's only 58 of us in the state, and we come together for meetings every 3 months. The current governor, we're talking 5 years now, he's never met with us once. Every governor before him met with us every 2 months. This governor refuses. He has never met with us, ever. He has no desire to. They're making all of these public safety laws and changing laws that are on the books that concern public safety, closing down prisons, letting people out early. He has never consulted with the public safety experts, the ones that deal with it every single day. Never. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense.
You've tried to reach out to him?
Absolutely.
There's no clear reason why he doesn't.
He's busy. That's the answer. Every governor in our history hasn't been that busy, but apparently he's too busy.
And this, I think, right here, when we get into it, folks, is the crux of the issue, is that, frankly, Gavin Newsom doesn't care about California. He doesn't care about public safety. He doesn't care about what goes on there. He just cares about the woke virtue signaling and saying, oh, yes, we are a welcome rainbow state. We are welcoming to all. We take all into our borders. But he doesn't actually live up to that. He doesn't actually back up to that. And when they see the folks that are coming over there into California, they say, oh, whoa, wait. We don't actually want to stand by our principles because we never had principles in the first place. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think Ron DeSantis will be charged with kidnapping? What do you think about the moving of migrants from Texas and Florida to California? Good thing, bad thing? Let me know, guys, and I will catch you on the next one very soon. Thank you for hanging out for this premiere. Catch you later. Peace.